Okay, this patient had orthodontics a few years back. By the time she came to me, she had multiple posterior teeth that were in a state of disrepair, fractured teeth. Occlusion was way out of line. She just didn't have a whole lot of posterior teeth. She's missing those lower left teeth. We had to put provisionals on the lower right. There was an implant at number 30. And she wants me to kind of get her restored. And as I begin to look at her, I'm really concerned about her lack of anterior guidance. So let's take a look at her models and see where that takes us. Okay, we got this case, and we set it up by taking a centric relation record, bite record, and I've got it articulated on the Danar Mark 30, or articulator of choice, if you will. I'll show you kind of what I do here. We can take a measurement and we can make sure we can set this on the actual hinge axis that we measure on the patient. So the hinge axis, the articulator, is right back there. If I put a mark on the central incisor, you can see that I've got a 97 millimeter hinge axis, and we can actually measure that with a simple little framing square off the patient, marking the TMJ and then relating it to the labial of the upper incisors. So here we go. That's how it's set up. And then you just have the articulator memorize the movements. From this point forward, we kind of turn the articulator off. So now, get rid of my measurement. I don't need that anymore. So now I can slide through the movements and I can see what the jaw's doing in the different movements. Etc. Or better yet, I can turn off one of the scans and I can just look at the markings. This is what's known as dynamic movement. This is with all of the teeth, with all of the markings for all of the patient movements. If I turn off dynamic, you can see now this is just centric. Now, she's been heavily equilibrated, or these models have been heavily equilibrated and built up in order to try to repair this case. But just for showing you the setup, I'll get into the story here in a minute, but just for showing you the setup, this is the way that I can look at the actual movements. If I show, okay, so that is centric relation. If I go to the protrusive movement, centric relation, she has very light contact, but here again, this has been equilibrated. This is the trial equilibration, if you will. So as this patient moves forward, you can see everything that touches is where she's touching at that moment in time. You can see she's touching right there. I mean, if you ever think there's not a spot touching, you wiggle the models around and you'll find it, like I did just then, right here. So as she comes out in excursive, that's what she's getting. As she goes right and left lateral, she's guiding up on this cuspid over here. That would be her left lateral movement. And this would be right lateral movement. Okay, when you turn dynamic on, this is the sum total of all movements. So you see all of the markings for protrusion, left lateral, right lateral. So now, let's get to the story. This patient transferred in She had been in orthodontics maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and she said it didn't stay stable. Her teeth flared back out. These teeth were all pretty broken down. I had to do provisional restorations over here. An implant had been placed here at number 30. So I kind of did some provisional restorations just to kind of get caries control underway. And now I'm sitting here looking at the occlusion, figuring out, okay, where can we go? Where are we going? And this is centric relation. Of course, this is before my trial equilibration. So problem with her is that she's rubbing heavily on these third molars. I mean, I can't get her onto her upper anterior teeth. I mean, she does right there at the very end of that protrusive movement. Left lateral, once again, big time guiding off of these second molars. Now, here's the amazing part. Other than her teeth breaking down, she doesn't have muscle pain, muscle symptoms, muscle headaches, none of those things. Here again, different people adapt to different ways. So I think my challenge at this point is I want her to go back into ortho, and she's actually willing to do that and get the orthodontist to see, can we do something to give me some anterior guidance here? Because trying to do it by building up cingulums is just, that's just kind of crazy. I don't know how well she wouldn't probably tolerate that pretty well. And to do this, I have to crown every one of her upper anterior teeth. So that's not what I really want to do. If I put these two viewpoints side by side, and I can give you a back and forth view of it, if you will. So this is pre-op, and that's post-op. That's trial equilibration post-op. Once again, pre-trial equilibration. So, being faced with this, obviously orthodontics, I think, is the best option. To see what the orthodontist can do, and that's kind of where we are. We want to kind of get an idea of, can we make this work? Now, I do believe that these wisdom teeth, even though that's our only tooth on this side, needs to get out of there. It's completely in the way. I do not ever see being able to utilize that in any good fashion. Challenge is not a lot of bone down here, so implants might be difficult. So I don't know. We can play around with that, but trying to do a crown prep back there and a bridge or whatever, I think it's a big challenge. But we'll see where this goes. Okay. Thank you very much.